So hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking a segue away from SEO and marketing general and actually delving more into the changes that the sectors we work in are seeing. And joining me today I have Ghai from the Attraction World Group. Hi Tia.
Hi Dan.
Tia is slightly nervous, but she's fine.
Yeah, it's my first time, so it's making me really nervous.
No, apparently I am scary still, which is fun. So Tia, do you want to just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So, hi everyone. My name is Tia, and I am a strategic account manager at Experience Connector, which is a sub brand of Attraction World Group. So, essentially, what we do at Experience Connector, we're the B2B to C side of Attraction World Group, and we resell experiences, attractions worldwide to various partners. So that's my side of the business. But in general, Attraction World Group does a lot of things. We work in quite a few different ways, including B2B, so the traditional retail markets, and also B2C websites. So yeah, a broad range of things at Attraction World Group.
No, thank you for the backgrounds. I think a lot of people, especially in the SEO marketing space, don't necessarily understand that the end provider who interacts directly with the customer isn't always the only one in that chain and directly to that. So it's a very different world than, like you said, your B2B to C.
Yeah.
There's more than just like one kind of connection in there.
Yeah.
So what we're going to be talking about today is something which you can speak and attest to more, and that's just how the attractions and experience industry has really been evolving over the last couple of years and changing, especially kind of like post pandemic, which is 3 years ago now that kind of officially ended, which is still
I
mind-boggling.
know, mad.
5 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, someone reminded me the other day off topic that when the Bowling for Soup song 1985 was released in 2005, we are now as far away from 2005 as they were from 1985, which, like, I literally unfriended that person and blocked them immediately on all
Oh
channels.
wow, yeah, you don't need to know that.
I do not need that reminder in my life. But so kind of top level, so you see both sides of it. How have you seen the kind of attractions sector evolving then over the past
Yeah.
couple of years?
100%. I mean, seeing both sides is really interesting because obviously us sitting in the middle as this kind of aggregator of experiences, we touch both the supply side. So just for a bit of context, I started at the business as kind of within the product and supply industry. So I've touched that side quite heavily and recently moved over to the kind of distribution side of the business quite recently. So then touching, how we sell the kind of attractions that we sell. So there's been a lot of changes, especially, for example, on the product side of things, in the way that people have been setting up, for example, pricing, the way that attractions are evolving in what they're offering. It's been, to say the least, I think there's been so many changes within the kind of attractions industry. And let's say, for example, some of the big theme parks, the way that they've set up pricing, the way that they've set up their offerings, it's chaotic for even the customer. So for us to have to handle that as a middleman, we're trying to ease that for the end customer to be able to book smoothly. And then on the other side of the chain, I guess it's quite interesting on the amount of partners that are interested in trying to sell experiences. It's really broadened. So we've got the likes of, the traditional OTAs reaching out to us as an aggregator, but then we've also got the likes of airlines. We've got new verticals coming in like cruise, all trying to touch this kind of smaller ancillaries attractions industry, which is a lot of the reason why people travel. So we see a lot of change in that sector, especially.
So just touch on one of the things you said there when you said there's almost like chaos in how
Yeah.
they're trying to better understand A, what they're paying, and probably B, what they're paying for.
Yeah.
What are some of the kind of key challenges you're seeing commonly kind of across this, which you think businesses could do better?
Yeah, 100%. So we've got the likes of, say, once again, theme parks implementing, airline style surge pricing. So this reactive kind of dynamic pricing dependent on demand, which is chaotic to set up in the background and to have to handle, to be able to deliver that to partners who maybe have never touched that side of the industry before. So we so traditionally saw that across airlines and the way that seating pricing worked, but to now see that in the way that we're booking tickets for the likes of the big theme parks, it's difficult for the customer to know where they're getting kind of value for money.
Are you seeing customers being more aware of surge pricing? I mean, the reason I'm saying that is because obviously when Oasis released their tickets I don't know, probably 6 months ago now, it made national headlines, but you were stuck in a queue for hours and then you ended up paying like a remortgage to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Things like that have put that kind of pricing model more into picture. So people are just more, you're seeing people more aware and cognizant this is happening.
100%. And I think, especially with kind of the cost of living crisis that we're living through post COVID, it's been difficult for people. People are counting the pennies. People are willing to splurge on holidays, and especially the attractions and experiences side of the industry. I think because people travel to see things, to have those experiences and create those memories. So they're willing to pay for those experiences, but they also don't want to be robbed of their money to do so. So you do see a lot of customers who are quite savvy and do their research to be able to book comparatively, but we also see that customers value good service. So where they are getting good service and where they are being treated well, it's not so much about the price, but it's about what else is being offered, what else can kind of give towards that sale. So yeah, it's a bit of both.
Are you seeing any trends, just kind of building up any trends on like what people are wanting to see, more people more not so much like even if it is like the added extras of like little room upgrades or things like that, or is it more like free transfers to attractions, free different elements, or even sustainable elements, less tangible things?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the types of experiences more so, and where we can get kind of more integrated into those experiences and get the more exclusive kind of attractions or experiences, like behind the scenes kind of things, things that you can't get elsewhere. That's what customers seem to be after, and those are the hardest things to source because in a lot of cases, those things aren't out there. But where the likes of us as a business can offer exclusive experiences and can offer that kind of unique selling point, I think that's where customers really, really value that.
In terms of sort of what people are wanting then, kind of, and obviously it's for theme parks, it's for things to see, it's experiences, are you noticing any probably changing trends in kind of what users are wanting? Like, unless are still the same amount of people wanting the big theme parks and the big adventures, or is there more of a trend going towards more the experiential and location based?
100%. I think there's such a mix across the board. So you'll have your classic theme park fanatics, but I think the likes of theme parks are evolving in what they're offering to basically continue to appeal. And we don't see a lack of demand towards the theme parks at all. I think we continue to see those. But we do also see people, as I said, we've got those traditional kind of landmarks that people want to go back to, people searching to kind of tick off their traditional bucket lists. Because I think COVID made a lot of people realize that time is limited, and where we can have the chance to travel, have the chance to see those things that we've dreamt of seeing, get out there and do that. So we continue to see the demand for the traditional, but likewise there's always that change within our industry, new experiences, new kind of digital experiences, the likes of kind of digital artwork galleries and things like that really coming to the forefront as well. So it's quite a broad range. The traditional's still valid, but there's always kind of new and evolving demands, I think, from customers.
So from that, are you seeing people willing to not necessarily travel further, but willing to step outside of the comfort zones more to try different things?
100%. I think people are booking those as those once in a lifetime trips more often. We see people trying to make the most of their one holiday a year, rather than just looking to lie on a beach somewhere within Spain or wherever it may be, and they're after the kind of more unique experiences to come back and say I've tried this or I've done that, not kind of following trends. So there's also that kind of wanting to stand out, I think, in what people are doing during the holidays, which I think is also kind of growing.
So that's interesting that you say with not wanting to follow the trends and wanting to stand out. And we're all aware of how TikTok is influencing a large number of sectors and how the whole TikTok travel thing's taken off and has really shone the light on a lot of lesser known destinations and lesser known activities.
Exactly.
Are you starting to see them come through as well as part of the, I've done like, not necessarily wanting uniqueness, but that thing on TikTok, I've been there and I've done this, and that kind of
100%.
gravitas.
That stays relevant, Dan. There's this fear of missing out, which I think has always been the case, that people, this FOMO that exists, that people see everybody else going to, a certain attraction, certain destination and want to be there as well. But then there's also this kind of not wanting to be part of a crowd that comes into it, not just going to an overcrowded attraction, people wanting to do something that's kind of off the beaten track and try different experiences. So I think the TikTok trend is still there, and a lot of people turn to TikTok, especially for experiences, to see what things are like before they're traveling. So they have this expectation that's there, which I think also then curates a lot of what people are planning to do. And I think that also feeds into people wanting kind of booking patterns as well. So we see a lot of kind of customers looking to lock in their trips and their kind of experiences before they travel, rather than what they used to traditionally do in terms of turning up to a destination and deciding what to do when they're in resort. So that's quite interesting as well, I think.
I'm very much in the laggard category. If I will turn up and I will sit down at a destination.
Me too, I can't lie.
And I will go to the ATM and I will get the cash out and I will very I'm old before my time. So with the trends you're seeing over the past couple of years, and 2025 is a new year, everything's moving forward. Like I said, people wanting to book that once in a lifetime or get the most out of that kind of year holiday. What kind of trends do you expect to see over the rest of this year? Is it going to be more focused on finding hidden destinations? Is it going to be multi-center and multi-destination holidays, or?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a mix. We don't see kind of a customer booking a certain type of holiday and going for that, but more so, I think, trying to do as much as they can during the holiday. So we see a big kind of surge in these kind of passes where you can get to multiple attractions that you want to, or even kind of pre-bundled attractions where you've got kind of multiple experiences in one that you can just go and everything's kind of ready, set, and you get to do everything to wherever you're traveling, I think. So yeah, I think those are the kinds of trends that we see, we are already seeing and tend to see pick up.
Do you have any concerns in the market? I mean, I know a lot of attractions you kind of guys work with, and sort of the bigger one. I mean, everything's bigger in America. Let's just go, and a lot of the bigger theme parks, not even like your Six Flags, but your traditional ones down in Florida, who will just remain nameless because I hate the name of them, but no one cares anyway. But are you seeing any hesitancy on booking or anything like that from travelers, just given, like, I know from a business perspective, the new president's in place, there's a bit of turmoil there, there's a bit of disruption. Is that playing into it all, or are you just still seeing demand staying strong?
I think we still see demand staying strong, funnily enough. People are very determined to go and get their experiences and go and, have that, holiday where they get to go, especially on those theme park holidays. There's a lot of dedication to want to go there. And with the opening of a new theme park in Florida, as you mentioned, that's massive. And we only expect demand to surge as that kind of comes through. It's an endless competition, I think, between those, especially in Orlando, the big theme parks constantly competing to try and outdo one another. So I think it's just kind of waiting to see how that plays out and, how customers pick that up.
There's a kind of final question I want to ask you on this, and this is just kind of moving away from those theme parks, because obviously, you're going to, let's use Orlando as the test case. So you're going to Orlando, you're going there because you want to go on the roller coasters, you want to see all the licensable Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers, all that jazz kind of stuff. But obviously, that's just the theme park side. There's obviously the destination side of it as well, and a lot of the local businesses will rely on that tourism, rely on that tourist dollar in this case to kind of go through. Understanding the expectations you're seeing travelers having with regards to booking the trip, what would you advise those other businesses who are just part of the background of the trip, if you like, who rely on that tourist dollar? How would you recommend they go about their 2025 and raise their bar to meet those expectations as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really great question, Dan. I think, attractions providers, and especially those smaller attractions providers that are trying to jump on the back of kind of big volume kind of travel, I think they need to open up availability. I think the attractions industry is currently working in quite an old-fashioned way, and kind of, only having, for example, rates available until the end of this year. But we see that people are already booking ahead for, the likes of 2026, 2027, looking ahead, planning those holidays, getting early, because if they lock in your trip now, they're going to be able to have that experience alongside those other experiences, and that's kind of a guaranteed customer then. So I think being able to change the mindset in the way that the industry is working, and open up to this huge kind of broader industry. I think the travel industry works in silos. We've got, you know, the airline industry that works in a certain way. We've got the hotel industry in a certain way, and then we've got the attractions industry in a certain way. But because we're all looking to link up together and make that holiday a whole, I think we all need to work together and understand how each kind of element is working, so that we're able to provide, you know, the best experience for our end customer.
No, I think that's a great point to end it on, and a great kind of takeaway and soundbite from it. So, fantastic to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Well, that's wrapping up this episode. If you enjoyed this, please do consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel quite a lot. And if you do like this content and want to well, please do consider hitting subscribe. I've been Dan Taylor and been joined by the gracious Tia. Thank you very much for watching.